Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be going over top 10 games for $1 on Steam currently because of the winter sale. Okay, so obviously these are $1 games, but some of them are actually pretty decent for $1. I'm going to be honest with you. But these are my top 10. Some of them I kind of include like one space, includes two games. It's just the first and then the second of the game. So it's a little bit more than 10 games, but pretty much 10 games, $1. Let's get right into it. It's in no order really whatsoever. I'm gonna just go through it how I kind of list it out for myself, right? So first one I think is worth it is Counter-Strike Source. Now you have two Counter-Strikes. You have the first one and you have Counter-Strike Source. Counter-Strike Source is more worth it for me because there's actually a big online community. Well, it's not huge, but there's always somebody playing, and there's a lot of custom games that you can play multiplayer. Forms of Jailbreak, gun game, like the one of the like original gun games. You know what I'm saying? It's really good custom games. There are it's a little bit. There's a lot of memes, and some of them are a little bit offensive. You know what I mean? There's certain servers that do kind of like not the best stuff, but there are servers that are reputable, and you know what I mean. They have good gameplay for $1. Great, great, great. I have almost 200 hours. I love it. Next we have is the Half-Life series. So Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2. Why do I put in there? They're classics. It's a classic, you know what I mean? For $1 each, like you look at the reviews, man. Like it is just a classic. Like there's nothing else to say about it, right? And obviously Half-Life 2. And I just put this as one, you know what I mean? Just like, you know what I mean? Because they're both a series, right? But both these games, they're instant classics. They're like, yeah, you just gotta play them if you haven't. You know what I mean? Next game is Payday 2. Robin and Looten. It had its rise. It was a pretty popular game at one point, but yeah, if you never experienced this, shoot, for $1, it used to be $10. Now it's $1. Why not? If you want to try it, it looks cool. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of gameplay of it. And I did play it over a friend's house. It was cool. I don't know why this is loading, but yeah, it's a very cool little game. You can sneak, you can play it however you want to play. You can just go guns blazing, and obviously you can play with friends. So for $1, I think it's a good deal. Next is Portal and Portal 2. Obviously another two classics. Literally, again, very good reviews. Two classic. If you never played them, you solve puzzles. You have to think about it a little bit. There's a lot of finesse to it, but it's very, very good. The physics are great, obviously. And here's Portal 2. Again, for the price, you can't beat it. It is a classic game, and if you never tried it, try it. Next we have is Plants vs. Zombies. This one right here, Game of the Year edition. So literally, it's just the what do you call it? It's just like the mobile game. Whenever mobile games actually were good, you know what I mean? Like now, mobile games, it's all just pay to win and pay to just pay and pay and pay and pay. But back in the day, you could just pay $2.99. You know what I mean? There was a free version with ads too, but you know what I mean? I spent the $2.99. $2.99 for a good game like Plants vs. Zombies. You know what I mean? There were so many stages, so many levels. These little things were so cool. Then you had all those extra options, like you can grow. You had like discography. You had the mini games. It was just so good. There was like an endless horde option. It was so good. It just had everything for a little mobile game. And the whole game, $1 on Steam. Listen, for nostalgic reasons, like this is crazy. Don't do this ever, okay? But right here, 0.99 $1 to just relive a classic. And if you've never played it before, you might be like, oh, but it's old. It's a mobile game from 2009. Play it. It is so good. I think Plants vs. Zombies, yeah, they tried to like do like a first-person shooter version of it and stuff like that. My little brother really liked that. I used to play with him too. But I'm gonna tell you right now, this right here is, I think, one of the most like goated like mobile games. Like goated. I'm not talking about some of those mobile games that like stayed around for a month, got super popular and left. This one, in terms of content, goated. I think this is an amazing game. an amazing game. And to be honest with you, let me go add this to my wish list so I could, you know what I mean? I'm gonna replay it actually. Yeah, I think it's a great game, and it's been a long time since I played it. Next, we have this Poly Bridge. Right over here, they have a second one as well if you want to play it. This is some stuff that, listen, it's like, I don't know if I played this, but I've played similar things to this, where, you know, you obviously build the bridge, you build the supports. I even did this in a class in high school. I had a class, it was like an engineering class, and yeah, we had a certain similar program to this. But it's cool, you know, you do levels, you know, certain cars pass, and you see if you can build a good enough bridge. You know what I mean? It's a cool little game. It's a cool little thing to do if you want to waste some time, you want to just do something that's a little bit more interesting. You know what I mean? I like it. $1, I think it's worth it. Next we have is Lucius. This is a horror game where you play as the villain. Kind of cool, huh? So you play as this little kid, and yeah, you're a villain, and you, as you can see, you got some devil inferences here. Again, this is a horror game. Just be aware it has some horror aspects, obviously, but it's a very good game. It has a very good story, and again, you are in the perspective of the villain, which I think is very cool. $1, very good story. I think it's worth it. Next, we have is the Left 4 Dead series. Listen, both are $1. Again, another classic game. You know what I mean? You play with your friends, you play without your friends. A little shooter, shoot 'em up, survival kind of in a way. Pretty cool. Again, it's a classic game. If you want it, here it is. It's a very good price, and here is the second one. There you go. Next we have is Postal 2. So Postal 2, it's a little bit controversial. There's certain things you can do in it that people say is a little bit too out there, crossing the line, if you may say. I think it's a cool game. I think it's definitely a cool game to play. Again, mature audience. It's a mature audience kind of game. You know what I mean? And it was made in 2003. And let's realize that now how the world works is different from how it worked in 2003. So there will be aspects of the game that, you know what I mean, you could be found offensive. Again, but I think it's a cool game. Just don't take it too seriously. It's meant to, you know, poke fun at certain things. You know what I mean? If that kind of makes sense. But I think it's worth it for the price, $1. Next and last, actually, we have is Limbo. Limbo is a very cool. It's like a, what do you call it? It's like a side. Is it a side scroller? Is that what you would call it? But it's very cool. It's one of those games where you just go through. It's pretty much a linear progression, but it tells you like a little story. It's like a little cool little artistic story. You know, these come out all the time. Like the most newest one that came out was Stray, where you're like the cat and it tells a story, but you go through like these little, you know, areas. Kind of similar to that, you know what I mean? Little Nightmares is another great example. It's not that one's not like a 2D. It's a little bit 3D-ish. But yeah, it's a cool little story. People like it. It was pretty big when it came out, actually. So yeah, I think and they even have a demo if you really want to. But for $1, I think it's really worth it. And those are my top 10. We got Counter-Strike Source, Half-Life and Half-Life 2, Payday 2, Portal and Portal 2, Plants vs. Zombies Game of the Year Edition, Poly Bridge, Lucius, Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2, Postal 2, and Limbo. Those are my top 10 for $1 games in the Steam Winter Sale of 2022. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.